You're listening to the Out of Bounds podcast, brought to you by the Premium Cigars at Havana Smoke Shop in Jackson and on the Reservoir. Havana Smoke Shop for your premium cigars.
The button, my friend.
The Out of Bounds Show is live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge in the Bank Plus studio.
Check it out.
All right, the Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by Dave Bartoo, drinking Four Roses bourbon on the rocks. Briarwood Wine and Spirits just dropped Four Roses bourbon, private selection, single barrel. It won't be there long. 4949 Old Canton Road, Briarwood Wine and Spirits. Show is also brought to you by the Breakfast Pizza at Bravo Italian Restaurant and Bar. Their brunch is amazing on Saturday and Sunday. Of course, lunch and dinner throughout the week. Their wood-fired pizzas for lunch and dinner, but try their breakfast pizza for brunch. Woo, it's fantastic. And marry it with a Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary, all at Bravo Italian Restaurant and Bar in Highland Village. Welcome in. Good morning. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Dave Bartoo, not only does he do The Matrix, right? And The Matrix is built on TLC, and that's in college football, and that's talent, location, and coach effect. And then Dave took it, he's got coordinators that he can grade, and he's been on offensive and defensive scoring efficiency and all kinds of things for years. But we've discussed NFL quarterbacks with Dave, too, over the years, and he's been tracking this for 10 or so years. And his hit rate's pretty darn high, and he has some theories as to why, he's on Justin Herbert, not on Tua. He likes a Dak Prescott or this guy that has to elevate his team and so on. So we welcome in Dave Bartoo, College Football Matrix, and Dave joins us on the Shinerbach guest line. Dave, in the 2016 NFL Draft, why did you have Dak Prescott as one of your top three quarterback prospects?
Oh, dude, three factors, okay? And it's not just Dak. It's quarterback X, okay? You can apply it to any year, any time. Okay, but Dak Prescott checked the boxes. Heck, when he got elevated to starter, I DM'd Cowherd and said, just run with this guy on the chance he hits, because the odds say he's most likely to hit. Of everybody drafted, him and Paxton Lynch, okay? Now, I know Lynch didn't hit, but we'll get to that in a second. But with Prescott, he follows the pattern of almost all, absolute majority, dominance in NFL starting quarterbacks, the pattern of which they came out of college football, okay? So anybody listening, get your pencil out right now, because all you have to do is check these boxes, and you can be the best person at grading NFL quarterback drafts for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life, okay? Number one, did he start more than 24 games? Yes, he did, right? I mean, he had like 3 seasons worth, okay? Number two, did he elevate the team past talent expectations? Absolutely. Pretty much inarguable best player in Mississippi State history.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he elevated the team, okay? He started more than 24 games. Being a senior, that hasn't been as big a deal the last couple of years, because we've had some juniors that have come out and have made a big NFL impact. But those guys all started 3 years of college football. But largely, your senior quarterback. And folks, as you're listening right now, think about all of your favorite, best NFL quarterbacks right now, okay? Everything I'm telling you right now, almost all of them check these boxes. It's not just Dak Prescott. It's all of these guys. And so with Prescott, you had a guy that elevated the team. He was number one in quarterback effect in that draft. Okay, that's one of my biggest numbers, is how much did you impact the win-loss expectations beyond talent? Because here's the bottom line. We all know NFL, number one position in the NFL, and in college football for that matter, is quarterback. dude, if you can't lead your college football team on Saturdays, how the hell are you going to do it on Sunday? You don't. Okay? So you learn how to lead. You lead your team. You draft leaders. You draft guys that elevate their teams. So when you're looking at this draft, same thing in Prescott's, is find that guy, find that senior, find that elevator, find the guy with the experience. That's the best value and most likely to succeed in the NFL.
All right. Dave Bartoo on the Out of Bounds show and the Shinerbach guest line. So you mentioned Dak. Who else in that draft were you high on?
Well, like I said, Lynch was one of them. Now, Lynch was a big miss, okay? Lynch was drafted first round, I think the latter half of it by Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I had – now, when the draft was over, the number one value pick was Dak Prescott, unquestionably. It wasn't even close because Prescott and Lynch, from a quarterback effect, impact on the win-loss rate of their teams was pretty equal. But where Dak was picked was the huge value. What was it? Was it third round?
Fourth round.
Fourth round. Jesus criminy. So you got that value there. And I can't remember who the third guy was off the top of my head. It was nobody else in the first round. The first round sucked. Okay. I saw all those guys picked, and I thought Lynch had the best potential of the first-round guys. I felt the best overall value easily was Prescott in that draft.
Okay. All right, so the three factors, which is what you're hitting on. Mm-hmm. And another guy from this state that I think about, Eli Manning. He started for 3 seasons at Ole Miss, Dave. So he had 30 – let's just go 39 starts. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Did he elevate Ole Miss? Like, wow, that was awesome.
No question.
Dude, I'm sure equal quarterback X, and it's the same damn story. Okay? Aaron Rodgers. Is Aaron Rodgers a good quarterback?
Yeah.
Cal, best time they've ever had. Aaron Rodgers. Purdue. Do you know Purdue was really good under Drew Brees? You ever heard of a team named Miami of Ohio? You heard of them one time. Quarterback was Ben Roethlisberger.
Right.
Wisconsin, best program year they ever had, playing Oregon in the Rose Bowl. Oh, who was their quarterback? Russell Wilson. Dude, it's just, and it's easy. It's easy. It's all in the numbers. I've never watched a damn second of NFL quarterback film. Not a second. I've never looked at a single stat of anybody in college football before they're drafted. And I am the best at doing this in the last 10 years. There's nothing close to what I just gave you in terms of those check boxes. Nothing.
Dave Bartoo on the Out of Bounds show. And you loved Herbert last year.
He was the number one guy on the board.
Yeah. God, he had an unbelievable. I mean, Blake kept coming in every weekend and going, Bo, you understand. Justin Herbert is playing out of his mind, considering, they're the Chargers and it's his first year and so on. And then you were one that said, look, and this is not personal. You said, I'd run from Tua. I would not draft him third. And now the Dolphins look like, Dave, there were 2 games. This is hard to do in the NFL. There were 2 games where he threw for under 100 yards. He got benched twice. But he's going to continue. We have a theory, too. You continue to get the benefit of the doubt when you're a first-round pick, but you don't if you're a third or fourth-round pick like a Dak or other players. Your thoughts?
Look, it's not just Tua, okay? Look at the success ratio. Take your elite recruiters, okay? Look at the success ratio. Those guys get drafted all the time, right? All the time.
Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State. I mean, good grief.
Dude, there is a laundry list. I mean, you think the Cleveland Brown quarterback T-shirt list is bad? Look at look at everybody at Ohio State. Name one awesome NFL quarterback out of Ohio State that was also awesome in college. That's right. There aren't any. There are none that I can think of right off the top of my head. Okay? There literally, there's none. You know, it doesn't matter if it's Dwayne Haskins. It doesn't matter if it's Troy Smith. You name it. Dude, you could not get me to draft Fields in the first round.
Yeah.
Hell the no. Okay? You just, and why? Here's my hypothesis on it. It's because in the NFL, you have to, the NFL quarterback, when he walks out on that field on Sunday, he is the man. That is it. You have to win football games with your arm, with your legs, with your head. Okay? At Ohio State, at LSU, at Alabama, at Florida State when they had elite recruiting, at Georgia, you have so much talent around you, you don't have to train those things to win football games. You don't. I mean, look at Mac Jones' numbers. Gee, my knees, dude. Really? I mean, every other pass was a dump out of the backfield. Of course he's going to complete 70% of those. But did he learn how to be an NFL leader and win football games under intense pressure 16 weeks out of the year? No, none of these guys do. Now, flip that over to Dak Prescott, okay, or anybody else on a non-elite recruiter, okay? Deshaun Watson, did he have to shoulder the load every big game? You're damn right he did.
Yeah, he did.
Did Dak Prescott have to shoulder the load every time they walked out into an SEC field? Yep. Eli Manning? Yep. They were being mentally and physically trained as an NFL quarterback because the pressure was there every weekend. Look, I tell this to parents, I tell it to kids, I tell it to coaches, okay? You want to be a long-term NFL quarterback, then you don't go into an elite school. You don't do it. You don't go to Alabama. Now, if you want to cash a bunch of checks, Max Jones is going to cash checks, okay?
Sure.
But you look at his profile, elite school, started, 12 games, 15 games? Dude, he's Dwayne Haskins. Mm-hmm. He has massive bust written all over him. Now, he may succeed, but it'll be 1 in 30 years. It'll be a lightning in a bottle. It'll be unbelievable if he succeeds. If who's the dude, Trey Lance out at North Dakota State?
Right.
Dude, if he succeeds, he started 15 games as well. You know? So, you look at this draft right now, really there's only one guy with huge quarterback effect that's going to go in the first round, and that's Wilson. Trevor Lawrence is closer to Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Now, if I put Tom Brady and Peyton Manning up on the board and gave you QBX and QBY, in my numbers when they were in college, you couldn't tell them apart. You couldn't tell them apart. They look exactly the same. It's amazing. It really is.
Dave Bartoo talking NFL QBs. This is so good. Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Tua, all these guys that haven't made it. You look at the 2009 through 2016 drafts, it's just bad. Really, really bad. And so now we've got 5 that are going to go in the first round this year. And, 3 will probably be bust at least. Blake?
Yeah, Dave, so I have a question. So based on all that you've just said and the stats that Bo just pointed out, which, again, we know that no first-round quarterbacks from 2009 to 2016 are on their first-round drafted team.
That's incredible.
Given all of that, and given you who have a little bit different approach and the numbers are better, even you miss Paxton Lynch,
yeah.
Obviously it happens.
Right.
Knowing all of that, if you're a general manager and you have someone like Dak Prescott or Russell Wilson already on your roster, are you doing everything you can to make sure they stay on your roster, or are you going back to the well and hoping you can hit another monster fish?
You know something? If I'm the GM, the first thing you got to try to do now with Wilson and Prescott, and this is kind of going off of a different path, is you got to try not to overpay these guys, okay? Because anybody that takes up more than 15% of the salary cap, a quarterback that takes up more than 15% of the salary cap has not won a Super Bowl in the last 30 years. Okay? So with Prescott and Wilson, This is the same thing with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson next year is going to take up like 4% of the cap. The year after that, he's going to take up 22. Okay, so if you're going to bring in, let's say you trade for Watson, you're basically saying I'm going to try to win a Super Bowl next year, and then I'll be happy with the playoffs after that. And maybe a lot of football team owners are happy with just the playoffs. So it depends on the point of view of the general manager. But
then the Cowboys and Seahawks have missed their window because they're both already highly paid, and they're not going. It's not going the other way. They will be super highly compensated for however long they play in the league. Dave, Wilson and Dak.
Right. So if you're the Cowboys, if you are Seattle, you're not getting Wilson. To me, the only first-round risk is probably Wilson and Lawrence. Lawrence, just from an emotional standpoint, even if he busts, you have a hard time arguing against it because he's been largely healthy and he's performed, above expectations. He really has. The expectations were high, but you still got to understand Clemson still is for the most part is barely a top 10 recruiter. They don't recruit at the super elite level. They just happen to recruit super elite at some of the positions, specifically quarterback. But he's been successful there and kept them at a high level. But so if you're Seattle and Dallas, I think and it could be anybody. I think what you have to be doing is looking for that Dak Prescott in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. Find that senior. Find the guy that elevated the team. Find the guy that has been healthy his whole life. I really believe in quarterback and player health because it's such a violent game. Try to find those diamonds and somehow keep them on the roster. I liked Green Bay's move last year. Remember when they drafted Jordan Love out of Utah State? I really liked that move because Love at Utah State had a huge quarterback effect. I didn't like it necessarily in the first round, what they gave up to get there. If they could have picked him up in the 2nd or 3rd round, I thought that would have been a very good value in terms of draft. I don't think they needed to draft him right there. But that is the kind of thing that I think looking forward, you have to try to position yourself into, okay, what's happening next year? Who are the quarterbacks? If I'm looking this year after Wilson and Lawrence, now you start talking 4th, 5th, 6th round potential.
Value.
Okay. And so one of the names that has popped up a lot is Mond at Texas A&M. Okay. And he checks off a few of the boxes, right? Senior, been there a long time, started a bunch of games, but did he elevate A&M beyond expectations while he was there?
He didn't.
No. So to me, 6th, 7th round value, maybe undrafted free agent, bring him in. Who are some of the other SEC guys that I might be? What about Trask? Did he elevate? He shouldered the load at Florida the entire year.
I thought he elevated Florida. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is he a senior? How many games the guy start?
Not many. So he took over the year before when Felipe Franks got hurt. Bartoo, let's just say he ripped off 5 to 6 starts, and then they played. We played 10 games this year. They went to the SEC 12. Let's say 17 starts.
17, so not many. I'd love it if he came back. Anybody can. We can say that this year. Anybody can come back.
Right.
You don't have to go in the draft.
Right.
I think it'd be great. And actually, the report I sent Oregon, I'd send the same damn report to Dan Mullen. Say here's your pitch to the guy. Have him stay because he will increase his potential of staying in the NFL if he stays. Same thing with Ian Gold at Notre Dame. He shouldered the load a lot, and Notre Dame won at or above expectations. Those are 2 guys I would take before Mond. I hear Mond's name a lot, and I'd rather have Trask and Gold over Mond because I thought the pressure cooker they were in and the load they had to handle would translate better to the NFL.
Dave Bartoo on the Out of Bounds show in the Shiner Bot guest line. All right, we've only got a few minutes here, Dave. I want to switch gears. You just mentioned something. I like this. You mentioned super elite and elite recruiting. And I like the way you're starting to break this down. So super elite is in college football recruiting. That's Bama, Ohio State, and Georgia.
I go top 10.
Okay.
I go top 10, and let me tell you why.
All right.
I was actually just working on the recruiting profiles of the last 20 years. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the top 15 recruiters in college football this century, the top 15 have all of the national titles. All of them. Okay. The number 2 through number 10 recruiters have all but 2. So the number 2 recruiter, the number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they have 19 out of 21 national titles this century. So that's my cutoff line for elite recruiting, is the top 10, because the top 10 win almost all of the national titles. The exception, Clemson. Actually, Clemson was top 10 one year. Excuse me, it's 20 out of 21. The 1 year with Deshaun Watson. That's the biggest outlier in college football this century for a national title winner, is Deshaun Watson shouldering the load and beating Alabama. So that's your outlier. So that's when I'm looking at elite. Now here's the thing. This will make you laugh, okay? And if you're a Mississippi fan or a Mississippi State fan, this is going to make you smile the rest of your day. Okay, remember how I just said number 9 through 10 has 20 out of 21 of the national titles?
Yeah.
Do you know who the number 1 recruiter is this century?
Southern Cal?
Nope. Oh no, dude! This is going to make you smile. It's going to make you laugh. It's going to make you laugh for weeks. You're going to tease people that
Georgia?
are fans of this team for as long as you can. Georgia. Look at Georgia, number 1 recruiter, no national titles. Everybody else has all of them.
Golly.
Yeah, that is Saving Private Ryan, knife to the heart. Yeah, no. So, but realistically, that's where my cut line is. So. You look at your last 4 years moving average, you're right. You know, you've got your Alabama, you've got your Ohio State, you have your Georgia. LSU is still a top 10 recruiter, okay? Texas, Oklahoma, Clemson. I think that pretty much covers it right there.
Mm-hmm. Super elite and elite recruiting in college football. All right. We'll leave it there. Dave Bartoo on the Shinerbach guest line at CFB Matrix on Twitter. And that was a fun 20 minutes on NFL quarterbacks and his three factors. All right, Dave, real quick, 15 seconds. Drop the 3 factors again on NFL.
3 factors. Experience, start more than 24 games. Hopefully they're a senior. And elevate the team, quarterback effect.
Bam.
How good is that team compared to expectations?
Bartoo, be good, buddy. See ya.
Take it easy.
Hey, the show is brought to you by Boar's Head. Compromise elsewhere. We've got baseball games, basketball games, and sunshine this weekend. When you're throwing out that game day platter, charcuterie board, it's all Boar's Head. Premium meats, cheeses, and hummus. Boar's Head. It's your grocery store of choice. Boar's Head, compromise elsewhere. Thanks for listening to the show. Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Brought to you by Independent Roofing Systems. If you've got a commercial job, you want to go with Independent Roofing Systems. We'll see you tomorrow.